Let's come to the line and speak to the ECD MD, Samodubik Mahama. Um, what do they know about this situation? So Jifa is explaining that it's a gas problem. Mr. Mahama, thanks for joining us. Good morning.
Oh, good morning, Bernard. How are you doing?
I'm very well. So a few of our listeners have complained about intermittent power outage, and the reason we're asking you to comment on this is you just finished a big revenue collection exercise,
Yeah.
held a triumphant press conference last week. So for people to now be suffering power outage after paying the money that they owed you, it's a bit of leaves a sore taste in the mouth. So what is going on from the perspective of ECG? What's your understanding of the current situation?
So with ECG, we only sell what we get. If what we are looking for in terms of gigawatt hours doesn't get to our doorstep, we cannot give to our customers. And what we get is what we pay for. So, for instance, what has just transpired from what the Gridco has just put out is there was a low pressure gas issue that led to we having to dump some power, over 230 megawatts of power 2 days ago. Steps have been taken. Some alternative fuels have been bought. But let's say in the terms of using light crude oil, their plants will have to recalibrate before, so it takes some time. One of the plants that really helps in this situation is SunPower because they can just switch from gas to diesel easily. AXA can also switch from heavy fuel oil to gas easily. So those two ambidextrous plants are the ones that normally come to our aid. But at this point in time, we didn't have enough, there was no HFO. The DFO, which is the diesel that was available, also kicked in, but it didn't allow for as much power as the grid needed within that period. So that's why we had to do that during the peak hour. But that being said, this morning, ECG has also done its best to close the gap as quickly as possible by helping get some heavy fuel or the HFO, and some diesel is also going the way of SunPower and Co. So we just want to make sure that we have some good amount of stock for alternative fuels to the gas. Everybody uses gas because it's cheaper, but the situation can be likened to having a generator at home that runs on water, but you also have to get something else just in case you run out of.
I get the explanation, but say one of the questions people have is what determines which place goes off. So in the specific case we are discussing, the Power Enclave is where these power plants are that depend on the gas from Nigeria. So in the temporary situation where the gas is not coming and they have to rely on a different oil type and switch, there may be a period where the light has to go off. Who determines whether it's Medina that goes off or airport or Kokomilimle?
I would say it would have to come from the transmitter, because after the power plant has given whatever, he knows what he's bringing in. He knows which box supply points to send them to. So I believe strongly it comes from the. I may be shifting too much burden on the transmitter, but I would say it's a shared responsibility. Actually, it's both Gridco and ECG determine how the flow should be, so that it doesn't affect other northern parts of the country. So through that, you're able to determine which portions can stay alive and which portions can go off. Some people are of the belief that it's done based on business, and it's not done based on business, and so that you can say East Legon are very good customers, so they should stay on because they have. Because as I'm speaking to you, East Legon was off during the Monday incident, so that is not the case at all. When it happens like that, it's about equitable sharing of the power within the country, so that the entire nation or half the nation or something like that doesn't go off. So we try to make it an equal share through the country.
So finally, on this point, what do you know about the solution in terms of an alternative oil? Are you saying that as we speak, we have managed to get heavy fuel oil or another type? So as we speak, the matter has been resolved?
As we speak, the matter has been resolved largely. There's enough heavy fuel oil with AXA. and there's some diesel with send power. So if we are to see this anytime, we would not have any of such problems going down the line. But we are then not going to have to make sure that at every point in time there's enough standby fuel for this situation.
Good. Somebody from the power sector wants me to ask you that now that you've collected a lot of the money owed you, how much do you now owe the power producers?
The power producers, we are actually in conversation with them about the way forward. Let's not forget one thing. The whole structure in the power industry has to be relooked. There were things that have happened that have put us in a very, very precarious situation. And we just need time to have an entire conversation. We are currently in meetings. We have a meeting with one of them today. When we are done and we are able to have a proper structure, the requisite amount of monies would be paid to everybody. The understanding will work, and then we have a better framework moving forward. But currently, you can equally be saying you are pushing forward right now with the legacy debt and with debt from this year. We should be pushing, with all the power plants together, we should be pushing close to $2 billion.
Because you had said that you were hoping to recover about 5-point-something billion cedis.
Yeah. But all of them cannot go to the power plants, though. You know that.
No, I'm coming. I was just going to ask, so of the 5.7 you were owed, how much were you able to recover in the 1 month exercise?
Out of the 5 point, the whole exercise, we recovered about 3.1 billion.
A little over half.
Yeah.
And is the recovery going on, or you do it in phases? So are you resting, or you are continuing?
No, we are not resting. It's going on, and there will be a big one by the end of the month too. As for the month-end big ones, you definitely see us. But as I'm speaking to you, I know the task force is all around the nation on an exercise right now.
So you collected 3.1 billion. Were you able to pay some of your power producers, using some of this to pay some of them too?
We gave them some money, but not all the money. We gave them some money, and we are actually in talks with them about the way forward to have a proper structure on how to pay them so that we can always be current on our bills. The problem we have now, which is also one of the reasons that even the country's financial situation is being downgraded, is there's lack of certainty. In every business that you do, nobody's saying don't borrow. But how you service your debt and how constant you are at servicing your debt gives you a lot of credibility. That is what we have lost now, and that is what we want to bring back. Because we need to have everybody at the table for them to understand this is how much we can give you every month, so they can also plan with their lenders towards that. If we are able to structure that, we would have a very good framework moving forward, and everything will become within the power sector. So we actually are having meetings, and very soon we should be done, and then we can hit the ground running.
All right, let's move to the next issue. And indeed, before I even ask the question, I just got a text message from a person. It says, "Good morning, Bernard. My name is Godwin Ayikpa. I bought 300 Ghana cedis power with the ECG app in October last year. But up to today, my meter has not yet been credited after several visits to the district office in Afienya. I'm using Godwin's text to ask you about your much talked about app, which still people are complaining about."
My brother, he spoke about last year, October. Which year, which month are we in now?
No, he said as of now, the thing has still not been credited.
So this is what I would advise him to do. He should dial *226#, or he should go onto the app and report this problem. Follow the prompts and the steps, it will be corrected. I admit that before the end of the year last year, the app had a lot of problems and it was being fixed. So I admit to that incident, but what I'll say is that steps have been taken. Other people's purchases that have similar problems have been restored. And so if he wants it to receive the requisite, attention as quickly as possible, he should just go through the app. They would trace that transaction and he'll be restored as quickly as possible. That being said, the app has gone through so many phases, and right now, to be very honest with you, we at ECG, we are proud of the app. It has a 4.5-star rating on the Google Play Store. We believe some more education needs to be done, and we are preparing that education for it to happen. Now, when a transaction doesn't go through, the money is reversed immediately into your wallet on the app. So we are taking certain pragmatic steps to make sure that things that were not happening on the old app are happening in the new app, and the app is working at its optimum. We are doing our best to better our internet service because MTN has upgraded its service to us, where Main One has connected to us. We are just about to go live in the next 2 days with Main One. And let me take this opportunity to announce that we've actually gone cashless, physically cashless in all our offices. We had gone cashless in the other form where a bank was assuring our revenue. But now we have actually turned off that button. So load up on your mobile money when you come to the ECG office. And
when you say you've got a cashless, is this in the ECG offices or at your vendors? Because I think last 2 weeks I went to buy with cash.
The ECG office.
Okay. So in the ECG offices today, you are going cashless today.
Today.
Is it for all meter types?
So the truth of the matter is, when you come to our office, note that nobody will take physical cash from you. Everybody, you'll be given a prompt to pay by Momo, or you'll be given a pay-in slip to go into the nearest bank and pay, or you can use your bank card to pay, or the transaction will be transferred into the ECG app. So everybody is entreated to download the app so that we do our payments through that.
Did you announce that you were going cashless? How come I didn't hear?
Bernard, you see, when I came to your office and we were even talking the other time, you hadn't even heard about a few things. I had to do it on your phone for you.
Yes, no, I'm not saying that for such a big thing, don't you think we needed more public anticipation? Because, look, you've said it now that I guess you announced it in the past. It probably escaped me. But it's such a major thing that for all ECG offices, you are going cashless. So that if somebody is listening to me from Jelukopet today and she's going to the ECG office and she doesn't have a phone, she can't buy a credit?
Bernard, the last time I was even on your show, I announced it. I announced that it was happening and it was going to happen. So we have actually made it very simple. It's a very simple assimilation thing. Even you can use a Momo agent to complete the process. It's not as complicated as it may sound being said simply, but it is actually a very, very easy process. The education part of it has been prepared and will be, our very good friend, Mr. Boateng, will be sending all of those things out as quickly as possible concerning the whole process. So please bear with us and we will do the necessary education.
So is there a plan to extend this cashless to your vendors eventually? So now that you've started in your office, should we expect that at some point in the future, going to a typical ECG vendor would also be a cashless experience?
It will depend on the vendor. It will depend on the vendor because we have had other companies come to us talking about also setting up their own app to vend for us, so that they become third-party vendors. So they are also speaking to us. So very soon, maybe someone like that will also find a way to integrate these third-party vendors. That's fine. But as I even promised you the other time, very soon, in about a couple of weeks, you will now be able to use the card to buy the power from the back of your phone. The only thing we've realized is that some of the cards do not have the requisite ability. So we've got about 2,000 of those cards now. So the moment we are about to launch that, we would make a very good publicity on that. Those who want to enjoy that service can come to our offices for a card replacement so they can purchase through the app. Those are the non-smart meters that use it. So we are actually going through a phase that we'll just ask our customers to bear with us so that we can provide them a convenient service while we make sure that the app stream is also working well.
So the big announcement is that in all your offices in the country, ECG is going cashless, and if you pay with Momo, it doesn't attract e-levy.
That is it, my brother. Simple as that.
Wonderful. We'll leave it here. Thank you, Samuel Dubik Mahama. He's the MD of ECG, announcing the cashless era of ECG, and the fact that paying with Momo does not attract e-levy. I think that's a significant one. Because we do know that the Momo was affected by e-levy. So a lot of people decided they were not going to do it.